Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for the very first game of Season 18. Please welcome our guests from Lake Minneola High School. They are the Hawks. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we invite you to please stand as we honor America with the presentation of colors by the cadets of Wekiva's Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps program. Tonight's detail is under the command of Cadet Captain James Ravenek, who carrying the U.S. flag. Carrying the Florida State flag is Cadet Airman Danielle Walker. The Rifle Guards are Cadet Staff Sergeant Emily Garcia and Airman Diablo Fleming. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And now, let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Minneola, and we'll start at point guard with 6-foot senior, number 2, Andy Julian. At point guard, 6-foot freshman, number 3, Josiah Gillard. At wing, a 6'4" senior, number 5, Ethan Isom. At small forward, 6'6" junior, number 13, Tyrell Thomas. And finally for the Hawks at shooting guard, 6'2" senior, number 24, Brandon Colmer. And the head coach of the Hawks, Ron Brown, with assistant coaches Alex Anderson and Corey Isom. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at point guard with 5'8" junior, number 3, Bryce Tees. At point guard, 6' junior, number 10, Ruben St. Pierre. At wing, 6'4" junior, number 11, Jason Fredson. At guard, 6'4" sophomore, number 21, Kenny Just. And finally, for the Mustangs, at guard, 5'9" senior, number 4, Juju Johnson. The head coach of the Mustangs, Mr. Jacino Lubin. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. And we want to welcome those of you who are joining us online. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, joined by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through tonight's opening game of Season 18.
And thank you, Mark. It's always an excellent job with the pregame festivities. We are underway for the 2024-25 regular season. Both teams taking a shot, no dice. So still 0-0, 30 seconds in. And there's the first turnover of the regular season at the other end. Score the deuce and a quick timeout, I believe, well, a quick whistle. Let's see if the points do count. Okay, the basket does not count.
What?
Okay, the basket does count. So a 2-0 lead for Lake Minneola. And there was also a technical foul, as you can see Juju Johnson at the line. And of course, those first points scored by Lake Minneola came off the turnover. So 1 of 2 at the line, a 2-1 score, but Wekiva maintains possession of the basketball. And they'll go back to work, trailing by that 2-1 score. So a quick start, little chaos. And at the other end, the Juicer trying to get the 6-foot bunny hop to go. No dice on that. Scramble underneath and a foul.
Foul called against Kenny Dugis. That's his first, the team's first. And apologies, we had a little bit of confusion on the camera operation there when we started out. We've got that squared away now.
So Wekiva going to a full court trap to open up not only this game, but the regular season. Lake Minneola, they go to work at the top of the key. That's Gilliard. So Lake Minneola, 14-12 last season, losing in the semifinals as the launch from Isom and call the splash.
For Ethan Isom.
A 5-2 lead for Lake Minneola. A minute and a half into the opening game of the 2024-25 regular season. That loss in the semifinals, that's the District 6A6 Championship Tournament. They have 3 starters returning from last season's team.
Basket by Leuven St. Pierre.
5-4 ball game now. So they have 3 returners from last season. Only 1 was a starter. That's Ethan Isom from the 8-foot baseline. Rims in and out. And doing the Windex work. Nice job by St. Pierre.
Foul is called against Hawks number 2, Andy Julian. That's his first personal foul, the team's third.
And the quick foul, and as you just heard Mark Barchi say, who opened up this broadcast, he's also the public address announcer here at Mustang Gymnasium.
And occasionally your emergency backup camera operator.
That's 3 fouls already on Lake Minneola, just 2 minutes into this ball game. Meanwhile, St. Pierre one-on-one. Now he faces a triple team. Smartly passes it out to the right wing. That's Francelin, and he'll go cross court to Thomas. Launches and drains the rain.
To Thomas for 3.
And Wekiva with its first lead of the ball game at 5:35, 7-5. So Lake Minneola last season averaging 58.2 points per game. A 44% field goal percentage. As they answer, we are tied at 7-7 from the right wing. Good rotation, 5:16 remaining in the first quarter. Lake Minneola also 24 rebounds per game. The leading scorer last season has since graduated. He averaged 14 points and change. However, they had their second leading scorer was actually a toss-up. 3 players scoring between 9.5 and 9.8 points per game. Returning, and that's Ethan Isom and Brandon Colbert. As Johnson, with the sleight of hand, steals that ball. First turnover for Lake Minneola. Back the other way. The fadeaway slides off that rim. That was Francelin taking the shot. He's a transferring and starting automatically. Of course, he was a starter over at Lake Minneola last season. Wekiva, on the other hand, if you're new to our coverage of them, 5-19, a very disappointing season. 5-18, obviously a disappointing season as Windex work. Back to the rebound. That was Isom, who also had 9.5 points per game last season. At the other end, the quick launch from Johnson, and that ricochets off. Lake Minneola coming back the other way. So up and down we go. A couple of trays, no dice, and make that a second attempt. Steal and the pass, and making the withdrawal
Brandon
from the
Colbert.
So mentioned Colbert, one of the returners last season, 9.7 points per game. Francelin, launch and splash.
Jason Francelin.
So back and forth we go. 4 lead changes now, along with 1 tie. 4.5 minutes into the opener of the regular season. From the free throw line, ricocheting, bouncing high and deep. That was that was Tyrell Thomas, unable to connect. And Wekiva continues to mount up the rebounds. Both these teams with 5 rebounds early, yet to get an offensive rebound for either team. As St. Pierre takes it, launches, and they're on fire. The splash!
St. Pierre!
13-9, largest lead of the game for Wekiva. 3 minutes, first quarter. Lake Minneola back to work, looking to cut into that lead and answering. 5-18 record again for Wekiva last season. Ended the season with 12 straight losses. They had nobody coming back from 2 seasons ago, a Final Four team, and no one really developed into a starter and a leader outside of Juju Johnson. Of course, Johnson now the senior, as Lake Minneola rotates down into the right corner, now to the left wing. Thought about it, that was Julian. He drives the lane instead, and it's just going to be a blocked shot. Possession will remain with Lake Minneola. And that does actually count as the first offensive rebound. Actually, it is a foul.
Technical foul is called against number 10, Jason Francelin, Lubin St. Pierre. That's his first personal foul. The team's second at the line shooting the technical free throws, Brandon Colbert.
Okay, so not a personal foul. The ball did just go out of bounds on the block shot, but a technical. As you heard again, Mark Barchi, our public address announcer, as well as my on-air partner, St. Pierre committing a technical. That's 2 technicals now in less than a quarter, 1 for each team. And 13-10 as 1 of 2 go down at the free throw line. 2:27 first quarter. Wekiva looking to rebound from a 5-18 season. Of course, talk about it throughout the preseason. To quote Chris Berman, the great ESPN anchor, you want to get off that schneid as fast as possible, get that first win out of the way. In the meantime, that's Gillier with a long-range attempt. No dice, doing Windex work, cleaning the glass is Julian, and there's a foul. So a great rebound.
Bryce D is back into the game for Wekiva.
For Julian, strong rebound, but then he's unable to keep his balance. And the second turnover for Lake Minneola. The regular season opener for both these teams. And the turnover, errant pass. Nowhere to go with that pass at the other end. Trying to float in the deuce. On the soft layup was Thomas. He did not get it, rolled off the backside of the rim. And it's just going to be an out-of-bounds ball. Lake Minneola retains possession. No, actually, excuse me, it's Wekiva taking possession. Nope, I was right the first time, Lake Minneola. So Lake Minneola back to work. That's Thomas with the 10-foot jumper, no dice. Clearing the board is Thomas, and we're off to the races at the other end. Wekiva likes to get up and down that court quickly, although they do choose their spot, and that D's unable to drop the 6-footer, gets his own rebound after a couple touches. Back the other way we go quickly. Lake Minneola taking a page out of Wekiva's book, and on the attempt to garner the rebound, a whistle.
Foul called against Mustangs number 0, Darius Holiday, his first, the team's third.
So that does count as an offensive rebound for Lake Minneola. 13-10 lead for Wekiva. They are on a 5-0 run. We've seen 4 lead changes and 1 tie. 1:28 remaining first quarter. We are live from Mustang Arena, the regular season opener for both these teams. In the case of Wekiva, they're also looking for their first win of the season, dropping both of their preseason games. Now, with that said, you didn't really see Wekiva at its best. Wekiva didn't really show its full hand, so to speak. Coach Lubin not playing its regular starters, as well as not really coming in with the team. I don't want to say, he allowed his team a lot more freedom than you'll see during the regular season in terms of the structure and organization of their game plan and their flow. Neither free throw good for Lake Minneola. Now 1 of 4 at the line. Chance to cut into that lead goes by the wayside. 1:15 remaining. As Johnson, a little stop and go action, the fadeaway, and nothing but net.
Johnson!
So Johnson giving Wekiva that 15-10 lead. They are now on a 7-0 run, and it actually had been a couple minutes before either team scored. We were stuck at 13-10 for quite some time now. Lake Minneola needs to score before this goes too wide, and that's an errant shot. Didn't catch rim, out of bounds, and it'll be Wekiva possession.
Leuven St. Pierre back into the game for the Mustangs.
Chance to further the 7-0 run as well as continue the momentum, to build on the momentum. Passing it in will be Caden Jean-Louis. Mentioned that Lake Minneola has 4 starters returning. 2 of their top 4 scorers as well as their top rebounder, Jacob Dennis, from last season. Wekiva returned 7 players from last season as the rejection. And I think it was a foul.
It was.
7 returners for Wekiva, 3 transfers as well.
Fouls called against Hawks number 5, Ethan Isom. That's his first, the team's third. That will send the Mustangs to the free throw line. Darius Holiday shooting 2.
So as you just heard, Darius Holloway at the line. And a 7-0 run for Wekiva. Chance to further it. What's supposed to be the easiest way to score.
Checking in for the Hawks, number 24, Brandon Colbert.
So 2 of 2. A 9-0 run for Wekiva and a 17-10 lead. It's been a very systematic run, and at the other end,
3 for Ethan Isom.
And that breaks the 9-0 run.
It's his second long-distance dedication tonight.
And also cuts the lead to 17-13, 21 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And again, mentioned Wekiva, even though they lost both the preseason games, this is a much different team. Wekiva not really showing its hand, and it certainly has translated to that 4-point lead. Chance, if they so desire, to take the last field goal attempt of the first quarter. 9 seconds now, and somebody got the hand in. Errant pass. Errant ball back the other way, 3 passes, making the withdrawal is Isom, completing the fast break opportunity. And now the last 5 points of the first
Ethan
quarter.
Isom will have the last word of the first period, and that will take it to a 2-point ball game. 17-15 is the score at intermission here in the first game of season 18 from Mustang Arena.
Which way we're going?
A lively first quarter, back and forth they went. Both teams 4 different lead changes and a turnover to begin. Wekiva having the bigger run, a 9-0 run, gave them a 17-10 lead. Lake Minneola scoring 5 in a row to cut that lead down to 17-15 as we begin the second quarter. Now a chance to tie this game or even take the lead. Wekiva with the errant pass coming out of the quarter break.
On the go-ahead basket.
So Lake Minneola back into the lead as Wekiva gives it up after holding it for about 4 minutes. And they'll be looking to regain that lead and regain some momentum. A couple turnovers have been the catalyst for what's now an 8-0 run for Lake Minneola. Both these teams taking the lead again with runs, shutout runs. As we're a minute into the second quarter, Francelin sweep through the lane, trying to get score from the right, no dice. Couldn't catch rim at the other end. It's Isom, high rebound, and Francelin doing the Windex work.
Mustangs trying to make something happen in transition, but the shot is blocked by Jacob Dennis and rebounded by Julian. Hawks have a chance to extend their lead. Nearly goes out of bounds, saved by Dennis there. The Hawks reset, take a very long shot. It's off the heel, and the rebound this time goes to St. Pierre for the Mustangs.
So Lake Minneola scoring the first tray, first points of this second quarter, taking the lead. Since then, neither team able to score, connecting. They've had some good ball movement. And St. Pierre hits the deck hard. He got whacked on the way up.
Foul's called against Jacob Dennis. That's his first personal foul, the team's 4th. That will send the Mustangs to the free throw line. Leuven St. Pierre will be shooting 2.
St. Pierre with 5 points. Minute and a half into the second quarter, 18-17 lead for Lake Minneola.
Reset the valve, 0-0. Now 1 for the guests.
Now tied at 18. Nice looking stroke for St. Pierre, who now has 6 points. See if we can give Wekiva the lead. Nope. Bounds off the heel and scramble on the right wing.
Hell ball, possession, Hawks.
So give the Hawks credit for a defensive rebound. About 200 fans in attendance here at Mustang Gymnasium as both these teams kick off the regular season. To my right, the cheerleaders are looking for something to cheer about now in the second quarter. Again, Wekiva 9-0 run put them in the lead. Lake Minneola answered with an 8-0 as the flying through the air with the greatest of ease was Julian, but he was unable to get the right touch. And now Wekiva will go back on the attack as well as the opportunity to regain the lead. 2 minutes into the second quarter. Wekiva Wekiva coming off a 5-18 disappointing season. Lake Minneola has the sleight of hand and the steal at the other end. Score the deuce.
Ethan Ison gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul is called against Mustangs number 21, Kenny DeJuste. That's his second personal foul. The team's first of this quarter.
So the +1 for Isom, who has 13 points, by far the leading scorer for either team. And he certainly has come out to make a statement in the opening opportunity of this 2024-25 regular season. Isom averaging 9.5 points per game last season. The 6'4" senior shooting wing. And he makes the most, converts the free throw. Now a 21-18 lead for Lake Minneola, who is also on an 11-3 run. Starting in the first quarter. Double team on Johnson, gets through that, finds his man down into the corner. Rejected, that was Ifrani.
Yeah, I haven't been counting, Neil, but Jacob Dennis, I've seen at least 3 blocked shots in the last minute or so.
Dennis, 6'8" senior center, and he certainly come to play on defense.
One of them turned into a foul, but I think I've seen at least 3 clean blocks out of him tonight.
Yeah, talked about Isom. He came to play on the offensive end. Dennis came to play equally on the defensive end. He was the leading rebounder last season for the Hawks with 4.6 as a junior. So certainly looks like he's upping his game here early and often. No dice as St. Pierre. That bounds off. Nice save for Anderson, but probably would have been ill-advised to just let the ball go out of bounds. Like Minneola on the run. And the splash.
3 for Brandon Goldberg.
So the run continues, 24-18 now lead for Lake Minneola. Largest of the game for either team. We saw 4 lead changes with Lake Minneola now on a 14-3 run. They've taken control of this game, enforcing the will and taking their opportunity to get their shots and the pace, as well as a sleight of hand. They've been quick on those hand turnovers, just shoving that hand in and swiping the ball away.
And there, that's Brandon Colbert, not a steal in the traditional sense, but
6 turnovers now for Wekiva, 3 in both periods.
Really heads-up play there from Colbert, managing to get that ball away from the Mustangs and then bounce it off Wekiva.
The spin move by Julian, stop, pop, no drop. Soft rebound in the battle underneath between
Francillon. Possession, Mustangs.
Francillon and Thomas battling, as you heard Mark say, who's also the public address announcer. The possession will go to Wekiva. So Lake Minneola also with a 7-3 advantage in field goal attempts. And as I always like to say, you don't need to be a basketball guru to understand when you're taking a 2-1 advantage in field goal attempts, you're most likely going to score more points. That's St. Pierre, the quick stop-go pass to DeJuice, and scores
St. Pierre to Kenny DeJuice for 2.
Much needed points for Wekiva, cutting the lead to 24-20. Also, it was a 14-3 run for Lake Minneola. Air ball, strong rebound in the corner, clanks off the right side. A 4th opportunity, still no dice, and finally Wekiva grabbing that offensive rebound and taking possession.
Defensive rebound, and then foul called against number 13, Tyrell Thomas, after the rebound, his first, the team's second. Mustangs ball at the baseline.
So a lot of action in that possession, no points put on the board. And Wekiva go to work, looking to score on 2 consecutive points. No dice on that thought. At the other end, that was Gilliard. I didn't see quite who got in the way, but just enough. Wekiva Johnson fakes the launch.
Traveling Hawks ball.
Travels.
3:20 to go here in the second quarter, and now we are going to get a Hawks timeout. Their first timeout of the game. 30-second timeout requested by Minneola.
So 14-3 run starting towards the end of the first quarter propelled the Hawks into the lead.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Parchi here with Neil Fisher, and we've got 3:20 to go here in the second quarter. Hawks take a timeout there. They lead by 4. Wekiva certainly having the momentum throughout most of the first quarter, but the Hawks coming back in a big way.
Yeah, again, a 14-3 run propelled them into the lead, which they now still hold. We had 4 lead changes before that and 1 tie. And that began with about 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now Lake Minneola looking to answer. Wekiva scoring last. No dice. Looked like there was a lid on that basket and a whistle in the rebound scramble.
Foul's called against Hawks, number 13, Tyrell Thomas. That's his second personal foul, the team's third of this quarter. Mustangs ball at their own baseline.
So Wekiva will maintain possession.
Checking into the game for Lake Minneola, number 5, Ethan Isom.
Mustang Arena, the site. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday night as we kick off the 2024-25 regular season for both these teams. Wekiva still looking for his first win of the season. They lost both the regular preseason games. No dice, ricochets off the heel, and Lake Minneola, as both teams have chosen their spots to run up the court. Now the defense gets back. Nice job by Wekiva of settling in and forcing Lake Minneola to have to score from their half-court set to spin. No dice as Gilliard one-on-one with Jean Louise. Meanwhile, the tray does not drop, doing Windex work and making the withdrawal.
Second chance basket by Jacob Dennis.
So it wasn't pretty. It took a couple of possessions, but Lake Minneola gets that deuce, which puts them up by 6. Tied for the largest lead of the game. Meanwhile, at the other end,
another blocked shot for the Hawks by none other than Jacob Dennis.
I was going to say, that was St. Pierre. Flew through the air with the greatest of ease until he ran into Dennis. And again, I believe that's the 4th block shot for Dennis. Talked about him a couple of possessions ago. Leading rebounder, returning for last season, not only returning as the leading rebounder, but he was the leading rebounder. 4.6, and certainly he's upped his game through the first half of this 2024-25 season. Johnson behind the back to escape the double team. Flips it around and floats in the
Juju
dish.
Johnson from the paint.
So momentum back on Wekiva's side after the block. Johnson, as you expect from the lone senior, answering. Meanwhile, runs into the wall. That's the Juice stopping that attempt and attack. At the other end, St. Pierre kicks into the corner to Deese, nothing doing, and can't get the third rebound. That was the Juice. So a couple of offensive rebounds unable to connect for Wekiva, the misfire. And now at the other end, Lake Minneola connecting. Soft touch and the iron kind.
Jacob Dennis.
The lead back up to 6. A 14-3 run, putting Lake Minneola in the lead by 6 points. It's been going between 4 and 6 since then. About 4 minutes. St. Pierre launches, no dice, hard rebound. And Lake Minneola, again, coming on that defensive end, led by Dennis with the rebound from the corner. Ooh, an ear ball fired from Gilliard, the 6'" freshman point guard, misjudging the range.
Foul called against Jacob Dennis, his second, the team's 4th. That's what we call a bear hug foul.
And you just heard Mark say 4 fouls now, so Wekiva will be in bonus the rest of the way. It's now 5 possessions per period, and you go to the line. Meanwhile, at the other end, Wekiva trying to cut into that 6-point lead. 28-22 lead.
Daniel Albertson into the game for the Hawks.
For Lake Minneola, who has led for the majority of the second quarter. They took the lead on the first possession. And now with 28 seconds, if they so desire, they could take the last shot of the first quarter, or the first half. They have slowed down the pace. 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds now, one-on-one, that's Gilliard. against Johnson. Throws up a wild shot. Last shot opportunity for Wekiva that came off the hands of Thomas, who did Windex work. Nice rebound. And we go into
takes
the
us
half.
to halftime. It's a 6-point advantage for the Hawks as they head into the locker rooms. 28-22 is your score at intermission. Here at halftime of Game 1 of the 2024-25 basketball season, Season 18, here from Wekiva's Mustang Arena. Back with more after the break. The Hawks have the opening possession of the second half.
And so as we begin the second half, the Hawks also in the lead, 28-22 score. Mentioned throughout that first quarter till about 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Four lead changes and one tie. Wekiva then went on a 9-0 run. The answer was 14-3 for Lake Minneola. And through the first 4.5 minutes of that first half, the lead was between 4 and 6 minutes after that 14-3 run. Lake Minneola leading for the last 4.5 minutes. Their leading scorer at halftime by far, Ethan Isom with 14 points. And so both these teams opening game of the 2024-25 regular season. Wekiva looking to come off a 5-18 record last year, very disappointing. 12 straight losses to close out the season. 14-12 for Lake Minneola. They lost in the district semifinals. That's the District 6A6. Both these teams actually in 6A6. So very strong possibility they'll see each other in the district championship tournament. Wekiva looking to score first after the turnover, no dice. Ball slides off the heel. St. Pierre again taking another shot. So he's taking a lot of shots. Again, we don't have the luxury of having a statistician, but I'd say he's probably shooting under 40%. Certainly trying, but just not falling tonight. The spin, as we mentioned, Isom continues to find
Hawks
the bottom of the net.
basket by Tyrell Thomas.
So now the largest of the game, lead of the game at 30-22. Wekiva needs some points. They need to answer and cut into that lead before it gets too big for them to come back. Much different looking team through the first half of this game for Wekiva. And now we'll see if they're going to revert back to what Mark and I talked about through the preseason games. That being, they come out strong for about 4 minutes and then they just fall apart. Of course, as we mentioned, only a 6-point deficit. At halftime, they even led for the majority of the first quarter as opposed to, again, just 4 minutes. And now it's that point where we're going to see what they're made of mentally.
Traveling, Hawks ball.
So now a chance to get that lead up to double digit for Lake Minneola. Sliding to the left, launching is Colbert and doing the Windex work. Nice job under the basket by DeJesus. Score remains 30-22.
Hand check is called against Brandon Colbert. That's his third personal foul, the first of this quarter.
And got a foul with 6:01.
Foul's called against Hawks number 5, Ethan Isom. That's his second, the team's second of this quarter, and it will send the Mustangs to the free throw line. Kenny DeJuice shooting 2.
So they'll not cut the lead. Golden opportunity goes by the wayside. The launch from Gilliard, and this time he finds the ray.
For Josiah Gillard.
So now 33-22. Largest of the game, largest lead of the game. And a 5-0 run to begin the second half for Lake Minneola as they go full court defense. So also looking at field goal percentages, as trying to get that rebound and score for Wekiva. That was Thomas eventually getting. He can't get the second opportunity, but somebody kicked it back out. That's Holiday, sweeps through the lane, good defense, clogs up that middle to Jesus, out to Thomas, and he'll reset the offense. 5 minutes remaining. Wekiva down by 11, 33-22. They haven't scored in the second half yet. 5 points scored by Lake Minneola, upping a 6-point lead to 11. And there's your first, the splash!
Three for Darian Thomas from Leuven St. Pierre.
So the rotation, much needed points for Wekiva, cuts the lead to single digits at 8 points as Wekiva now looking at full court defense, trying to shake up. And it won't do any good as swinging through that lane and making the withdrawal.
Basket by Josiah Gillard.
Gillard with 5 points in a row now. So both these teams shooting well from 3-point range. 3 of 7 for Wekiva, 4 of 9 for Lake Minneola.
Timeout Mustangs. Full timeout called by Wekiva.
11 of 28 for Lake Minneola overall, so that's about 40%. 7 of 22, a little bit lower at 35%, but again, a 29-22 advantage in field goal attempts. You don't have to be the proverbial basketball guru to understand more field goal attempts means more points likely, and that's where we are, 35-25, 4.5 remaining in the third quarter. A 35-25 lead being held by Lake Minneola, the visiting team. 4:26 in the third quarter. We are live from Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. Opening game for both these teams, regular season. A 14-3 lead giving Lake Minneola the lead. That took place at the end of the first quarter into the second. And they have opened up the second quarter, or the second half, with a 5-0 run to get the lead to as many as 11. As you mentioned, now settled down to 10 as we have exactly 4 minutes remaining, third quarter. Their leading scorer is Ethan Isom with 14. Lake Minneola with possession, and Wekiva needs to come up with the stop. Possession will remain with Lake Minneola. 3:50 now in the third quarter. So again, quick recap statistically as Lake Minneola inbounds. 28 field goal attempts by Lake Minneola compared to 22 for Wekiva. And that's translated right there. If you go by 2 points, that's a 12-point difference. They will not get it this time. Skying for that rebound with Holiday. Nice job by Holiday. And Wekiva go back to work to cut the lead back down to single digits. Both teams with 15 rebounds. Wekiva also turning the ball over 8 times compared to 4 in that first half. Those are first half stats. Johnson ripping the rebound down, right place, right time, and Wekiva unable to convert a couple of opportunities. That is their best looking possession in the second half, and now they catch the break with the turnover. Double team now on St. Pierre, needs some help. And he's not going to get it in time.
Timeout, Mustangs.
It was a timeout.
Yeah, Coach Lubin saw he had a team member in distress. He got the timeout in.
So you could make a case that St. Pierre did not get the timeout or the help he needed in time to not have to use a timeout, but possession will remain with Wekiva. 35-25, 3 minutes remaining, third quarter. So the good news is Wekiva maintains possession. The bad news is they're still down by 10 points. They've only scored 2 points, 3 points in the second half. 35-25, Lake Minneola with that lead, a 14-3 run. Starting at the end of the first quarter, propelled them into the lead. They've remained in that lead, enjoying as many as 11. And now attacking that baseline, sweeping
Foul's called
through the
against
lane.
number 5, Ethan Isom. His third personal foul, team's third of this quarter. Should be noted that Isom and Colbert both have 3 fouls. Isom, keep in mind, is the leading scorer for the Hawks.
14 points. And we've mentioned throughout this game, he was your second leading scorer, actually the fourth leading scorer for Lake Minneola last season.
Foul's called against Brandon Colbert. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 4th of this quarter.
At 9.5 points per game. Lake Minneola, their leading scorer who has since graduated, he had 14 points and change, and then 3 players had between 9.5 and 9.8.
Eric Glover is into the game for the Hawks.
Isom being one of those 3 players, so as you just heard Mark say, 4th foul. But we'll see what Coach Brown comes up with. In the meantime, Wekiva continues to have trouble converting those 2-point field goals, and Lake Minneola getting the rebound, swings it down to the corner, and the swish.
3 for Eric Glover. Well, maybe Colbert getting 4 fouls is the best thing that could have happened to Minneola, because he was at the right place at the right time, and now stolen basket by Andy Julian.
And just that quickly, with the leading scorer going out due to foul trouble, 10-point lead has grown to 15. Wekiva needs an answer. Under 2 minutes, third quarter. Thomas in the corner facing a double team, and it does the trick.
Out of bounds, Hawks ball.
Does the goal with the turnover, 2 consecutive turnovers for Wekiva now. 4 in the quarter.
Returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 11, Jason Francillin.
So mention 8-4, Wekiva trailing in the turnovers in that first half. And certainly that's been the case, 4-2 in the third quarter. The launch, clanks off that heel. That was Denmark. Excuse me, that
Juju
was
Johnson
Jillian.
turning on the afterburners to get to that rebound. Takes it coast to coast himself, and it's off the heel. Rebound this time goes to Andy Julian, and now the Hawks go to work. So the Mustangs managed to get the ball all the way down the court, but were not able to put together any kind of offensive rebounding effort there, and it's a short-lived possession. Still a 15-point lead for the Hawks.
Yeah, I mentioned both teams at halftime have 15 rebounds, but Wekiva only 2 of their 15 being on the offensive end.
3 is short, and it goes to Leuven St. Pierre on the rebound.
So, of course, Lake Minneola, you want to score on every possession, but they're in the better position to be able to miss some field goals.
Double team trap forces Leuven St. Pierre to get rid of it. Francillin is there to bail him out, but is getting harassed under the basket himself, and it is going to be a foul, and this is going to put it in bonus.
57 seconds.
Foul is called against Hawks number 20, Eric Glover. That's his first personal foul, the team's 5th. Penalty situation at the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs, Jason Francillin.
First free throw of the third quarter for either team. Francillin at the line with 3 points. Make that 4. Nice looking stroke. That'll cut the lead down to 14. Much needed points for Wekiva, even if it's not emphatic.
I hear you. We gonna reset. We gonna reset.
And 2 of 2 cuts the lead down to 12. Wekiva in the full court defense. Looks like a semi-trap. More designed to wear out Lake Minneola, make them lose their focus and necessarily create any physical pressure. 40 seconds remaining, third quarter. Lake Minneola, their slowest possession of the game in terms Back to live action, 36 seconds remaining. Lake Minneola with the ball coming out of the timeout. 40-27 lead for Lake Minneola. They have led since early in the second quarter. Regular season opener for both these teams. Wekiva trying to get its first win after a 5-18 season. Extremely disappointing. And now Lake Minneola holding for the last shot. Out to the corner, right wing, Etham, post up, off the left side of the rim, one of his few misses tonight. And a foul on the rebound as well, 6.3 seconds remaining.
Hold is called against Hawks number 2, Andy Julian. His second personal foul. Mustangs continue into bonus.
So
at the line shooting 2, Jason Francilla.
Didn't get an opportunity to mention it, but as Mark said, 5 personal fouls for Lake Minneola, none for Wekiva, so an advantage in this. It does pay off. Francella back to the line, 2 consecutive trips to the free throw line. And he goes 4 of 4 for much needed points, cuts the lead down to 11. Back up the right sideline at the buzzer, 2 seconds with the release. No basket if it had gone. That was Gilliard trying to attack and take
that takes us to the end of the third quarter, and it is an 11-point ball game now. 40-29, the Hawks lead the Mustangs going into the final 8 minutes of action here on Game 1 of Season 18.
And we begin the fourth quarter. It's been a struggle for Wekiva in terms of making inroads into the lead. A 40-29 lead against Lake Minneola, the visiting team. We are from Mustang Arena, Wekiva's home court. As we begin this fourth quarter, a 14-3 run beginning at the end of the first quarter put Lake Minneola into the lead. They've led by as many as 15. And when all was said and done after 3 quarters, the lead settled down to 11.
Foul is called against Hawks number 20, Eric Glover, his second, the team's first of this quarter.
A 6-point lead, 28-22 at halftime, 12-7 in the third quarter. So Lake Minneola adding 5 more to the lead. Inbound to Francilla, working one-on-one, spins, and makes the withdrawal from the main.
Jason Francilla opens up fourth quarter scoring for the Mustangs.
So Wekiva now on a run themselves, 6-0, cutting the lead down to 9. Again, not a big run in terms of changing the feel of the game, but certainly positioning
Ethan
himself.
Isom is fouled behind the arc. He'll go to the line and shoot 3 for the Hawks. The foul is called against Mustangs number 12, Markel Anderson, his first, the team's first.
So as soon as I mentioned, Mark, that Wekiva was positioning themselves to take a large chunk out of that lead and change the feel and direction of this game, they make that mental mistake, the foul on the 3-point attempt. As you mentioned, at the line, Ethan Isom, who continues as the leading scorer, 15 points now. For the 6'4" senior wing. And about 200 fans made the trip up to Mustang Arena for the regular season opener as 2 of 3 fall for Isom. He's now up to 16. By far the leading scorer. Francillon leading Wekiva with 9. As we're a minute into the fourth quarter, it's been a very lively game, a very raucous crowd. The tip-in doing Windex work, Francillon.
Francillon for 2.
So offensive rebound, one of the few Wekiva's gotten tonight, only 7 in total, but they at least keep that lead down to 9, single digits. If you're the coach, you always hear him talking about the first step is getting the lead down to single digits when you fall behind. In the lane, no dice for Thomas, the spin, and the possession will remain with Lake Minneola. I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice you hear is Mark Barchi. He's also the voice, the public address announcer for Wekiva Mustangs Athletic as Lake Minneola inbounds. And by the way, that is an offensive rebound credited to Lake Minneola on the getting possession, remaining with them. Underneath, out hustling Wekiva's Colbert. The tray, Wekiva dodges the proverbial bullet as the ball Skypes off the rim, the heel back the other end. The quick tray in transition. No dice, bounce off. Nice rebound. Windex work for Thomas. He takes it. Francillon.
3 for Jason Francillon from Darian Thomas. 14 points for Jason Francillon. He leads the team in scoring and is really keeping Wekiva in shouting distance of this match.
Yeah,
still
actually,
a 6-point ball game.
6 points. Closest Wekiva's been in quite some time, actually since half. And
Fadeaway
board,
jumper for Ethan Isom, 18 for him tonight.
So the board as well as the rim kind to Isom. He's now up to 18 as he continues to lead not only Lake Minneola, but getting points when they need it. The fadeaway from St. Pierre score the deuce.
Oh, then St. Pierre.
We back down to 6. So a couple of possessions, both teams trading points and baskets, and we're still at a 6-point game. Wekiva now, something they did not do through the first 3 quarters. They have the field goal attempt advantage, 6-4, and an opportunity to further increase it, forcing the turnover.
Foul's called against number 5, Ethan Isom. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 2nd. So again, just to re-emphasize that, 4 fouls on Isom as well as Colbert, and Isom's going to actually stay in. I thought the coach was going to take him out, but we're exchanging other players.
Coach Brown is going to roll the dice. That's Ron Brown. And now Wekiva's going to walk the ball up. St. Pierre looks over to the bench, gets instruction from Coach Lubin. Opportunity to cut that lead below 6. Closest they've been since the first half. It was 28-22 at halftime. Sliding through the attack. Too hard off the heel. And Windex work, snagging that ball with Julian. And Lake Minneola dodges the proverbial bullet again. Although they did do a nice job of fronting up the shooter. And at the other end, they'll also catch the break as they draw the foul.
Foul's called against number 4, Juju Johnson, his first, team's 2nd of this quarter.
So a 14-3 run, which began with about a minute remaining in the first quarter, propelled Lake Minneola into the lead. They had a 6-point lead at half. Lead grew to as much as 15 midway through the third quarter. Now 6 points. Wekiva needs a defensive stop and get back to cutting that lead down under 6. That's Gilliard, one-on-one with Johnson. Swings it around to left, picks up the semi-pick. Still nothing doing for Lake Minneola. They try that left corner. And now at the top of the key, Gilliard. Gilliard is resetting it, looking for their spot to take their shot. There it is from the right corner. And score the swish from Isom. And again, Isom the leading scorer with 21 points by far. Francillon with 14. That's Wekiva, but it's also been when those points have come. And there you see it. That was just the proverbial donkey kick to the gut. And now a 5-0 run.
Off the inbound. Tyrell Thomas for 2.
Thomas floating in the deuce. Now 49-38. A 6-point lead growing to 11 in about 30 seconds. And a timeout called. 3:55 remaining. Again, Isom getting the points not only in total, but when he gets them at three-pointer, stalling all of Wekiva's momentum and basically a donkey kick to the
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. 3 minutes, 55 seconds remaining. The game still is not a done decision, but the Mustangs are going to have to get some unanswered baskets here in the last 4 minutes in a way that they have not since early in the first quarter.
driving the lane, the attack.
Blocked by Isom. Isom, who's been brilliant on offense all day, turns up the heat on defense this time. But now the Mustangs return the favor on the other end. A little contact. It's a no call as Gillard crashes into Juju Johnson there. It will stay with the Mustangs, though.
Again, a 14-3 run beginning about a minute remaining in the first quarter put Lake Minneola into the lead. They took a 28-22 lead into halftime, got to as many as 15. And more recently, in the feel of the game, Wekiva cut it all the way down to 6. So as you mentioned, Mark, and they've done this throughout the whole game, Lake Minneola, those 4-5, 6-0 runs, this time it was a 5-0, which brought the lead back up to our current total of 11.
Prior to the shot, contact called on Jason Francillon. That's his first personal foul, the team's third of the quarter. Hawks ball at the opposing baseline.
And Ethan Isom beginning that run, again, 5 straight points to get the lead from 6 to 11. A tray from the right corner, just buried it. Gilliard trying to match him, that's an air ball, misfires, and a Wekiva possession. I see Coach Brown very animated about that decision. So I'm not sure exactly if he was unhappy with the shot selection or the rebounding effort, but again, a break for Wekiva with the air
Colbert
ball.
nearly sneaks in and gets it, actually does disrupt the action enough for the steal to happen. And then Brandon Colbert gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul is called against Mustangs number 11, Jason Francillon, his second, the team's fourth.
So now a 7-0 run, opportunity to go to 8-0.
Well, and there's the vindication of the decision to keep Colbert in the game. And I was mistaken, he has 3 fouls, not 4. But even so, foul trouble be darned. Brandon Colbert is a big contributor. He's the second leading scorer of this team. Ethan Isom obviously has a runaway with 21. He's going to be the leading scorer for this game, I'm pretty sure. Brandon Colbert, though, has been a major presence. 8 points in the books, but also a lot of intangibles happening. And you saw there just the sheer hustle that got not only the turnover, but then converted it into a three-point play.
Yeah, 9-0 run now.
Double team trap.
Excuse me, an 8-0 run. Bottom line is a 6-point lead has grown to 8 points in about a minute.
Timeout, Mustangs.
52-38, that 8-0 run. Again, Lake Minneola coming up with them at the right time. And Wekiva has to regain the momentum with just 3 minutes remaining from Mustang Gymnasium. (52-38), your score with 3:05 remaining from Mustang Gymnasium. Wekiva, the home team, trailing. They've been trailing since about a minute into the second quarter. They do have possession. They recently got the lead down to 6. It was as many as 15. An 8-0 run, though, from Lake Minneola. The leading scorer, Ethan Isom, charging as Johnson sweeps through the lane.
Juju Johnson through traffic for 2.
So lead down to 12. Hope still not lost for Wekiva, but they do need to come up with some defensive stops.
Let me tell you, Lake Minneola is not playing like a team that's up by 12. They're playing like a team that's down by 3. Foul is called against Mustangs number 3, Bryce Dees. That's his first personal foul, the team's 5th penalty situation. At the line, shooting 2, Josiah Gillard.
So Lake Minneola will be in bonus the rest of the way. Another disadvantage for Wekiva. Wekiva looking to rebound from an extremely disappointing 5-18 record last season.
And this is something of a turnaround from the third quarter in terms of fouls. It was 5-0 fouls, team fouls for...
Almost the complete opposite. And Wekiva dodges the proverbial bullet as both free throws.
Yeah, but it's almost as bad as the free throws dropping that Minneola gets the offensive rebound, which gives them control of the clock and an opportunity to score.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. And Isom again.
Tyrell Thomas.
Excuse me, Thomas. And now Wekiva turnover with 2:15. And Colbert tries to lay it in off the bank. He doesn't get it, but we'll go to the free throw line. Wekiva forced the foul.
Foul is called against number 10, Leuven St. Pierre, his second. And yeah, that's actually a tactical foul there because it's a gimme layup. You're already in the bonus.
You can't get a turnover foul.
Yeah, you can't get any farther into the bonus than you already are. St. Pierre had a foul to give. Don't give up the gimme layup. You're better off taking your chances at the foul line, and then at least you got a shot at a defensive rebound.
Yeah, I'd say that's very much the equivalent. It's a different sport in football, but you often hear commentators or interceptions referred to as caused by the defensive line. They get pressure on the quarterback. He throws an errant pass. Again, the turnover had the same effect in a situation where you have to foul to avoid giving up the easy deuce. And again, that's just going to add to Lake Minneola's momentum.
Hey, that's exactly how it worked out as DeJuice gets the rebound, but still the full court pressure high from Minneola. Of course, it does leave the front court open for a transition play, but Francillon not able to convert, and now he's got hands all over, but that's going to be a no call as now transition play by the Hawks. That's not going to go either for Colbert.
So again, Wekiva dodges the proverbial bullet, but they got to score, and there it is, St. Pierre, the up and down.
St. Pierre.
St. Pierre, the up
double
and
digits
down.
now. We got 2 players in double figures. Francillon with 14, St. Pierre with 10, Johnson right behind with 8. So certainly not a bad look for the Mustangs, but Minneola, just the speed that they have been able to run up and down the court, put on that full court pressure on both sides.
Lake Minneola still with that 12-point lead despite not scoring on their last couple of possessions because, as you mentioned it, Mark, that pressure stays on Wekiva with the up and down pace. 54-42, only 1:29 remaining. Wekiva's got to make a move and make a move quickly when we come back from Mustang Gymnasium. So Wekiva, the home team, still has a shot at winning this game, down 54-42 to Lake Minneola with 1:29 remaining, but they are in desperation mode. They got to come up with a couple stops to even start to get some momentum. A 6-point lead quickly grew to 14, about 2 minutes remaining, 2 minutes ago. And now Lake Minneola doesn't necessarily need to score. They just need to take time off the clock, which they did do there. 17 seconds off Coach Brown, wanting to set his troops, make sure they don't make any mistakes which opens the door for Wekiva. Still 54-42, only 1:12 remaining from Mustang Arena.
1-1. You guys got one, they got one.
(54-42), Lake Minneola has led since about a minute into the second quarter. Possession over Wekiva, the home team. They need to come up with a couple of stops. The cheerleaders trying to will them, and that'll at least help in terms of the time. Only 3 seconds coming off. A foul, but only 1:04
Foul called
remaining.
against number 11, Jason Francilla, and that's his third. Bonus continues for the Hawks. Tyrell Thomas on the line shooting 2.
And I think if Thomas can make these 2 free throws, he has 8 for the game. I think that'll pretty much wrap up the victory. Wekiva on its last legs. So Wekiva might still have a little bit left in the tank, an opportunity if he makes this free throw. They didn't catch the break there. And now the 13-point lead, but certainly Wekiva unable to put more than a couple of possessions together in terms of consecutive scoring. And now they're going to have to take some time off the clock to get this ball out, and they don't even do that. And I think that's just about going to wrap it up now. Down by 13 with just 55 seconds remaining. So Lake Minneola inbounds the ball. There's your foul. And now we're going to get a free throw.
Juju Johnson calling his second personal foul. Bonus continues for the Hawks. This time at the line shooting 2 for Minneola will be number 3, Josiah Gillard.
Gillard with 5 points. 3 of those 5 points, though, were lethal to Wekiva. They got the lead back up to double digits midway through the third quarter. He's also had 3 or 4 important
Violation,
assists.
no basket, Mustangs ball.
3 or 4 important assists, which got the lead, the score getting the lead back up to double digits. Wekiva catches the break, but still 13-point deficit. And now the turnover from the right or the left. That would have been the dagger in the heart. Still only 45 seconds, and Wekiva turns it over. So wrap up this game, as it looks like Lake Minneola is in position to just run out the clock, or most of the clock. Wekiva had the lead, 4 lead changes to about a minute into the second quarter. With about a minute remaining in the first quarter, Lake Minneola went on a 14-3 run that put them in the lead. They never relinquished it.
Transition layup by Brandon Colbert.
They had a 28-22 lead at halftime. They got that lead up to many as 15. Wekiva tried to come back. They did cut it down to 6 at the end of the third quarter, but then an 8-0 run spurred by Ethan Isom, draining a tray, beginning that 8-0 run, and quickly the lead got back up to 14.
Fouls called against number 13, Tyrell Thomas, his third. The team's third, at the line shooting 2, Darian Thomas.
So Ethan Isom, as we mentioned, returner from last year, 9.5 points per game, came out and showed he'd up his game from the beginning, scoring double digits by halftime. As a matter of fact, I think he was at 18, and he will be your leading scorer with 20-plus points. On the other end, Jacob Dennis, the defensive star, with 5 block shots in that first half. And again, the 14-3 run, beginning about a minute remaining in the first quarter, puts Lake Minneola in the lead for good. They'll go to 1-0. Wekiva drops to 0-1. Mark, take us to the finish line.
That takes us to the end of the ball game, and it is a 57-43 victory for the Hawks here on opening night of season 18. Leading scorers for the Hawks were, that was Ethan Isom with 21, and Brandon Colbert had 11. Jason Francillon led the Mustangs with 14. Lubin St. Pierre had 10. We want to thank everybody for coming out to support your Mustang and Hawk athletes. Mustang fans, we hope that we will see you again real soon, as the Mustangs will head to the Metro versus Florida Challenge at Lake Highland Prep. Again, that's an Apopka event, but the first day of it is at Lake Highland Prep, and Lake Highland Prep will also be the opponent. That's coming up during the Thanksgiving holiday. It's going to be next Tuesday afternoon. And the start time for that game, it's actually going to be the fifth overall game of the event. And that game is scheduled for 5:15 p.m. The Mustangs, in the meantime, will travel to Hope Academy on November 22nd for a 7:30 p.m. start time. We hope you'll join the Mustangs on the road or watch us online on YouTube or the NFHS network. If you are watching us online right now, please subscribe before you go. Those of you in the arena, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Until next time, good night from Mustang Arena.